big opening. Pass 5, pass 10. Burgos a man, and he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards of the carry.
Welcome back to the Believe in Badger Football Podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
Buddy. Dude, good, man. Every day's a holiday on the podcast.
You're darn right it is.
Dude, every day's a holiday, not at football camp, I think.
No, definitely not. Badgers are in camp, so we are coming at you to talk about camp. But before we do that, want to remind you that we are, in fact, brought to you and presented by betonline.ag. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. BetOnline is your place to find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, golf, college football, which we are going to be talking about. They continue to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over today or use your mobile device to make your first deposit. Use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV50 to receive 50% off your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Burn, the season starts at camp. Let's face it, all the off-season workouts, they're nothing once you get to camp. So we're going to talk camp today. Badgers have started. And first of all, let's talk about the seminary, because the kids these days, they don't have to deal with, they don't know what hardship is.
You know, you don't know what going somewhere that feels like an island is. Literally, you're on an island and you can't do anything but play football. But I can't wait to sum it up what the seminary is like. But here's the best part. You always work out before the off-season lift schedule. I mean, not off-season. The summer lift schedule is very hard. Preparing for the season to start. You're running stadiums. You're doing things that are really brutal. Like, just, they're very hard. All to play football games. Like, that's the best part is Saturdays. You got, like, I think JD at one point was like, I'm going to give you guys one day off. So everyone went home. Like, everyone's like, I got to go 3 days home or 2 days home and try to just enjoy, like, whatever you could do. And that was such a nice time to just go home for like 3 days, not think about football. I didn't do anything. I just sat around and hung out with my family, knowing that, coming up here was 18 days at the seminary. I remember 18 days because I'm like, this is like 3 weeks. But it wasn't. But it was.
So we've talked about the seminary a lot here on this podcast. Obviously some of my favorite stories that we've had from our guests include the seminary. But I still have more questions. I always want to know more about the seminary, especially because I didn't get to experience it myself. Was it tougher physically or mentally?
Oh, man. I think it was tougher physically.
Okay.
I mean, my first year was mentally and physically tough because I didn't know what I was doing. Dude, you get on a bus from the Regent, because that's where we were living, with all of your stuff. I had 2 duffel bags. I didn't have a computer. I didn't have, like a bed. Like, the Regent has everything. So we get on this bus with all your stuff. You go to camp. This is my freshman year, which I think is the worst because you don't know what to expect. Bob Doherty is my roommate. Literally, all of our stuff is in one room. It's not a huge room. We sleeping in these small twin beds. There's no air conditioning. So I didn't know this at the beginning. So they're like, bring fans. What kind of fan? A box fan? Like a little desk fan? So you show up, you have nothing. You're not prepared. Literally no doors on the bathroom. So every morning, Bob would wake up looking at me going to the bathroom. It was very uncomfortable, the whole entire setup. That might be too much information, but it happened every morning. And then, they give you literally a book with every hour of your day planned. So it says 6 o'clock wake up, breakfast, tape at 6:45. Even says weigh in somewhere in there, and then it's like practice
Which you
7:15.
skipped, which we know.
I mean, you had to walk by it. They had to weigh the guy was there weighing on those stairs down.
Oh
So you're
gosh.
like, you had to walk by him. So my first couple of years, I was, I was a company man. I was like, yeah, I'll step on the scale. And then after I started playing and like seeing that I didn't have to listen to every single thing, it wasn't like Coach Alvarez was telling me to do it. If he was like, Bern, you got to get weigh in every day, I'd be like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. But if it wasn't coming from that high up, then I wasn't doing it. But I'm telling you, man, it's weird. You don't know anyone your freshman year. It's just completely wackaloon. I also think these guys have social media. They think they know people better than what we used to in 2001 when I basically showed up without a cell phone too. So like they didn't have phones there. Like I was literally on an island. See your parents, I'll call you in literally 3 weeks. Like that's what it was. I did not have a cell phone until the September of 2001. So
Wow.
camp, yes, very serious.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And you're learning the plays and you're trying to meet people and make friends. It's like you're doing everything all at once. For me, it didn't go over well. For Jimmy Leonard, it went really well. The dude was a stud right off the bat. Some of us took a year to mature, and he just got it. AD has a funny story about Eric Bickerstaff that year at camp. I don't know if he didn't tell it, did he? No. And he goes, AD, man, AD. See, he actually talked like Mike Tyson. I actually just spoke with him. He's pretty interesting. He's like, yo, this guy, Leonhard, really good, man. He's going to potentially start. Leonhard? AD's like, who the heck are you talking about? And he's like, oh, Jimmy Leonard? Yeah, the dude is amazing. It was so funny. Like, just these stupid little stories literally got you through camp. And just to be around, my favorite part about camp is you have 100, and how many people they let at camp? 75-person play date every day playing the sport you love, although it's grueling and grinding. But every day I ate lunch and breakfast and dinner with Anthony Davis, and Greg Root and guys that like I'm in love with to this day. So, like there are some positives and some big time perks. But the first 2 years, that was like when the NCAA really didn't care about people. And they're like, oh, you can do 2 days in a row. So we would do Monday, 2 days, Tuesday, 2 days, with working out, like lifting and doing other stuff. And then Wednesday was a get on the bus day. We're going 4 hours because it was one practice and being at the stadium in like a full scrimmage, goal line, the whole nine. And then that was the only time we had like an afternoon off, or if we really weren't doing well, we'd put on like spider pads and go work. It was pretty brutal. It's just to think of now. Then they did it like you can't do two days in a row. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The weekends we still did like one practice in the mornings, or at some point during the day, but it was a little more relaxed. But think about 18 full days, like somewhere without a cell phone, without a computer, no way to get in touch with anyone. I didn't know anyone.
So what are you doing Saturday afternoon then? If you just have practice Saturday morning, or do you have to stay on the grounds of the seminary, I assume?
So we were allowed to leave
Okay.
for a piece of time. You had to be back by, I think, 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, like they didn't let you out at like a reasonable time on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It wasn't like
they're not trying to
leave
let
at
you go
noon.
get it in. Like they're
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure guys did a lot more things than I did.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I went to Qdoba with the $9 or $7 they gave you to leave because we had some per diem because you weren't eating the food at the seminary, so you got to get $10 or whatever. Go to Qdoba, crush it, and then see like a 6:30 movie because there's AC in the movie theater, and Marcus Cinemas is literally a block away. So we'd go to a movie and then just get in the car, and either if we had 20, 30 minutes, you'd stop and get snacks, but they didn't allow snacks in your room. So it was like you had to eat them all by the time you got there. So many rules. You could only eat in the and the seminary is a beautiful place, like without football camp, so you didn't want to mess it up there.
Yeah.
Um, but dude, those times are wild. Like it didn't even matter what movie it was because you could only see a movie probably at 7 o'clock or earlier,
Mhm.
just so you weren't late. Like if you were late, you were dead meat. And
Was it
I don't
worse to be late
remember.
to come back to seminary or to be late for a lift with JD?
I I don't think there's any time in the Alvarez regime that you should have, if you thought that there was any better time to be late. I don't think there was any time, if he was in the meeting room and you were late, that was your dead meat. Like you
Yeah.
just had a target. You go. You know, it's like I saw a lot of guys like, hey, go see JD after this. Like he didn't even have to do anything. Oh, so we don't have to go down. We're going getting too negative. Um, but yeah, camp was like full speed all day. Get taped. You know, like there was some, like after practice they had a pool off of the gym. The gym was our locker room. They put down like some kind of mat that you
Mhm.
could walk on with cleats, and then everyone would be in their ruds or their spandex jumping in the pool. It was like this big pool that they definitely didn't heat and nobody cared. And we would jump in. Sometimes they'd have troughs
Yep.
for ice
Ice
baths,
baths. Yep.
so we jump in that. But you didn't have a lot of time because every practice was filmed. Every segment of the practice was filmed, and your coach could tell the tech people like what he wanted to see. We never watched individual unless it was something like with somebody else. So that usually you knew you didn't, you weren't going to watch. You definitely went from, so the problem was you went from practice at 7:30 or whatever time, was very early, to meeting to watch the film, which I hated because I wanted lunch. I was starving. And then you'd watch an hour and 15, hour and a half film, depending on whatever time, coach wanted to let you out. And then you had um, lunch, and you literally, I would eat as fast as possible because then you knew at 2:15 you had to be up again. So
So
if we got
basically, what
lunch
you're
at
saying is
12,
nothing has changed in 20 years.
no, oh my God, when we went from, this is my favorite, when we went from the seminary for 4 years, and then my last camp was at Camp Randall, the locker room had 20 air mattresses and people just sleeping there. Literally, my apartment might have been 7 minutes on a scooter away,
Hmm.
and people were like, I will not take that time.
That's 15 minutes right there. That's 15 minutes,
It's
at least
15 minutes of
probably
sleeping.
20 once you're like settled. Yeah, it's no. Why you need that 20 minutes of sleep, dude?
Probably slept in a room. I don't even know what it's like. Maybe a barracks and like a military, but it was like 60 people sleeping on the floor, and it's not comfortable
That
on either the
it's
floor.
unfortunately like that. That's like if a tornado shelter, basically. Like
It's a tornado shelter.
no,
It
seriously,
basically,
like a
yeah,
large
it really
scale like
was.
tornado shelter, or like that
We're
that
like, turn the lights off.
yeah.
And all the lights were off. TVs were off. No one's watching. I mean,
And I'm
literally
sure
two
with
and a
the air
half hours.
conditioning though, and considering how tired you are, like I'm sure it feels incredible. Like it's probably
Incredible.
some of the deepest sleep you've ever got.
This is a time, and I don't even like reflect on it, but like you didn't scroll. Like there was nothing. My phone was a flip phone. Like it
There's
didn't
nothing
have
to
anything for me to
scroll.
do. Right. So the only thing you could probably do is play Snake. Like how long could you do that for? So really, like when you lay down,
Yeah.
and like didn't think of anything else. That was a weird camp because you drove home at the end of the day,
Yeah.
which I thought was different. I can't. I actually think the seminary just brings you together. Like camp and being in the suck is really what it. I mean, it does really kind of. Oh, everyone's there together doing it, and
Yeah.
it's terrible. But you're with the guys that you really love. They're your best friends. So when I'm looking at AD and he's smiling, I'm smiling. It's like, like how much could this really be bad? And then you go into inside drill and you have a headache, but for the rest of the day, which I'm
What?
sure is.
So at night, like after you guys have eaten dinner and stuff like that, do you have like film or anything after dinner? And then do you guys ever get a chance to like play cards or anything like that?
Matt Perkins. You do have like so you do have, so okay, so after the second practice, you watch film,
Yep.
you have dinner, then I think it was right around, I wish I had this. You would be disgusted at what this like built out day looked like. At 7 o'clock or 7:15 or 7:30, right around there, we'd have a team meeting in the auditorium. Coach Alvarez would speak. Sometimes he brought in Kenny Dichter from Wheels Up one year to talk to us. I met Rudy once. Rudy was there because Alvy was at
Yep, Notre Dame.
Notre
Yep.
Dame. So like we brought some guys in that was really fun to see and do. But I literally think, and this is what my high school coach did. It's like you got to kill some time. Like we don't want these dudes to be just on their own, thinking their own things, right? Like this is regimented, which I kind of enjoyed till, I met Rudy, and then this is nuts. Rudy was at my graduate school. He's speaker. And so nobody walked up and shook his hand after my graduate school. I got my diploma from graduate and walked right up to him and shook it. I was like, dude, I met you at the seminary with Coach Alvarez in 2003 or whatever. I was like, it's so good to see you again. Thank you. So bizarre. But like, if I didn't have that experience, I would have never done that. And that was at camp. My favorite, doing a lot of talking here, Matt. I'm getting lightheaded. My favorite, one of my favorite memories is they brought in a hypnotist. This is my freshman year, so I was scared, scared to do anything in front of these dudes because I didn't know any. It's like Nick Greison's there, and Bryson Thompson, Brooks. You got Herbs was there. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to mess with, Al Johnson. You had Ben Johnson. You had Nick Davis. It's a solid group of dudes. And I literally was like, I don't want to mess this. Wendell Bryant. I'm like, I cannot make a fool of myself. So I didn't go up there. Everyone else who went up there, I'm like, there's no way these people can get hypnotized. It was outrageously funny. Like the person was like, you're on a plane that's crashing. People grabbed the armrest and were like, no! And we're sitting there, we couldn't stop hysterically laughing for an hour straight. So yes, we always had a team meeting. Usually you'd watch some film afterwards. Like I think you'd watch something, or whenever the team meeting, sometimes they'd be like, all right, lights out at 10 o'clock. But what do you do at 8:30 after a full day of, being up at 6 o'clock in the morning and practicing and watching film? Like, you know how hard it was to stay awake watching film? Like people were standing up so they wouldn't fall asleep. Because those were the rooms that were air conditioned.
Yep.
So those rooms felt great. All the other rooms did not feel good. So and as you become an upperclassman, you start figuring things out. My last year, I brought a TV, my Xbox, 3 fans. I think that's it. And like Tiger Woods golf. And that's all I did. And some DVDs because the Xbox would play DVDs. So really, like, my downtime was really nice. Because I could just, be like, hey, Zach Hampton, you want to play some Tiger Woods golf? And we'd play. So the downtime was nice. When you become an upperclassman, you're like, you know what's going on, and you're not, freaking out about impressing people or not getting hazed or, I don't know, everything. Practice, like weighing in, eating correctly so you don't throw up at practice, trying to get through each practice and not pass out from the heat. Another fun day is they would bring in the Gridiron Club.
Mm-hmm.
So like they'd come and watch, and it was really nice. I'm sure for them it was great. For us, you just like watching people party and have a barbecue while you're sweating. So I wish I could do it now. As I like think about it, I'm like, it was very annoying to be on the field when there's like a barbecue and like a nice day party going on. Yeah, but so I feel for these kids. What they're doing now. I just don't think that it's even comparative to kind of the hard. I don't want to say it's not hard, but I feel like they're not doing inside drill, and we did it twice a day. I don't know if they go full pack and do like a full scrimmage. We did it twice a week. So I'm not comparing, I guess, how hard it is. I'm sure I've seen it. I've been to practice. Their practice is way more intense than I think what ours is. No one's really standing around for more than 20 seconds. It's actually really impressive. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't watched the camp yet. I just see that it came out, I think, yesterday, the day before, sometime maybe this week. I'm pumped to see what they look like. Granted, we were talking about this before, that it's all cut-ups and how good we are doing. It's not like you're sitting at practice and you're in it and hearing and seeing mistakes being made, which mistakes are important, right? You learn from them. But listen, from what I have seen and from the cut ups, it looks like Mertz is being a leader, which I think is super important. He looks confident. I don't think he's ever not looked confident. But man, I don't know, man. Once camp starts, it gets me super pumped.
What are you pumped about for this year? What are you most excited about? What do you want to learn this year in camp?
I think this year is a little unknown, right? We had the best defense in the world last year. We have a lot of guys who could step up and fill those shoes, I think. Jimmy's the leader. Anything's possible. I think they can be number one for a long time. They could be like the Yankees, they can be one forever. I'm really interested and excited to see what the line is like this year.
Offensive?
I think, yeah.
Okay, so what I mean, what are you excited? What specifically? Because we know what the left side of the line is going to look like. It's going to be Nelson, Beach, Tippmann, left tackle through center. We know what that's going to look like. So obviously it's the right side of the line. It's kind of it sounds like it's 4 guys for 2 spots, basically.
Listen, competition's good.
Yep.
Right? That breeds one competitive nature, and it's going to make somebody work harder than the other people.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're all going to work the same, but someone's going to shine brighter, right? I'm just excited because I think Bostad's going to get them right. And I think that's how we win games this year, is in the trench. I mean, obviously it's in the trenches, but last year we didn't win every time on offense on the line. And I think that's the most important aspect, is the O-line. Because I think our defense is going to hold teams to less than 2 touchdowns, right? How much more can you ask of them? We have to score. I think Braylon Allen, the guy's not going to get worse, and he's already.
I certainly
one
hope
of the best
not.
players.
I certainly hope he doesn't get worse.
There's no way, from all the stuff you saw on the social media, the dude is a monster.
Don't believe everything you see on social media, Bern. I'm sorry to be the one to tell. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. I know, you've made it somehow. You've made it to 2022, believing everything you read on the internet. I hate to be the guy to break it to you. It's not all real. It's a little bit one-sided. It's a little bit, unfortunately, people just don't put everything out there. They just tend to put the good out there. Or if they're trying to throw shade at someone, they just put the bad out there. The truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. I'm sorry to be the best.
However, when it comes to Badger football and the players, I'm cool with believing everything I see. I don't believe everything the news and media. But I believe when, Brown Allen's, whatever he's doing, squatting 600 pounds, I'm I could see it. He's doing it.
That's true.
Or whoever's doing all these monster weights. Oh, another funny thing is I just took a sip of water. Water breaks were not counted in practice time. So they would pause the machines, the counters, and you'd have a 5-minute water break that wasn't counted. I think the NCAA at some point, it's you have to count that. And they're but you can add more time on.
Also,
so it's the stupidest thing ever.
But did they also just reset the machines on you too at some points? When you guys were messing up?
Yeah, Barry wasn't happy. Practice had to be restarted. That was it didn't happen a lot, but that was probably the most ruthless thing you could do at camp.
Yeah.
You could get me up at 5:00 in the morning, but to do literally what do we call it? Individual again wasn't that hard. But I even think sometimes you look at the coaches and they're like, "Oh God, it's hot out there." I don't think anyone really wants to be out there. That might have been the hardest thing. That and the game room getting taken down overnight was pretty tough to be a part of. Yeah, dude, I'm excited to see what the wide receivers look like this year. I think it's Graham Mertz's. It's a big year for that guy.
So in that case, for me, it's about the Bobby Ingram in the new offense and how much of Paul Christ's DNA is in it and how much of Bobby Ingram's DNA is in it and how much leeway is Ingram going to get to call plays. Because even when Joe Rudolph was the OC, we knew Chris was still pretty much calling plays and stuff like that. So will Bobby Ingram get the chance to really put his stamp on the offense? Because in my opinion, that is the only way that Graham Mertz is going to grow, is if he has a chance to, work with Bobby Ingram and be be the guy on the field with a new system, because what we saw last year didn't work. Now, I said all along that was in large part due to the poor offensive line play. Like you said with Bostad, they're going to be way better. I think they're going to be way better this year. I think that Jack Nelson will turn into an all-conference left tackle. I think that Tippmann still, along with John Michael Schmitz and the transfer from Virginia, who's at Michigan now, one of the three best centers, at least in the Big Ten, if not the country. And then on top of that, I think Beach is a much better fit at left guard. But if it's going to be Furtney or Bordolini probably at right guard with Brown or Bordolini, or even Riley Mahlman, the redshirt freshman. He was apparently running with the ones on the first day of camp. So that would be really interesting as well. You're right. Offensive line is a fascinating position for me. I'm also curious about the health of the running backs behind Braylon Allen. Is Ches Malusi, Isaac Garendo going to come back full strength from injury? And can Julius Davis, he showed a couple flashes last year. Can he take, another step forward and potentially be an option? How do you feel about the running backs, Bern? It's your position.
I love them. There was a post that Wisconsin football put out that we should all not believe now if you're talking to Matt Perkins, but it says our running back room is stacked.
I mean, they are when everyone's healthy. When everyone's healthy. But the question is everyone healthy?
I don't know, but people are pumped. All the comments people are very excited.
Well, speaking of running backs,
I am too.
Speaking of running backs, Bern, they have a new coach, Al Johnson, who you played with.
Listen, I'm excited. The guy, he's eager. He wants. First, if you're going into a room that has proven people who are very good, so you're going to learn a lot from them. You don't have to come in and you're not going to change up a lot of things. You don't need to, put your culture into this room. This room has been cultured for 2-3 decades almost, right? From like Brent Moss, or right before him till now. So I think that chip and that culture is in the room, and the swag is there. I think really all you have to do is just get them physically ready to play, hit them with some mental here and there. But these guys can see it. They're going to know what to do. Just get them. Maybe if there's something new in the playbook that Ingram puts in, just to get them up to speed. But really, I think these guys are all gems to me. Yeah. They're already proven that they can do it. Yeah. I'm hopeful that Braylon can become more of a 3-down, 4-down back. I mean, he's a 4-down back, but maybe not 3rd down, right? So I think for him and his stock would be to catch some footballs, and I think it would help our offense.
And he's not just running. They've talked about
water break.
Well, I will keep the clock running during your water break because Braylon has also talked about how much he wants to get more involved in the passing game. We saw as Jonathan Taylor got older, he got more involved in the passing game. I think even obviously the guy that he reminds both of us of most, John Clay, he got more involved in the passing game as his career went on. John was never a big receiving threat, but he still could do it.
He was a huge.
He was huge, but he put the big in big receiving threat.
Big
I don't know
play.
about the receiving in the big receiving threat.
Sure.
So big and threat, yes.
Yeah.
Receiving.
I'm looking for a guy who is like the not the hatchet guy. What do they call him? Like the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Who like Brady Shipper was last year?
Yeah, like Brady Skipper.
Yeah. So he could catch balls out of the backfield. He could block, take on blitzers and chip on the ends, and he could run the football when he needed to. But I think you need a guy like that who can do all of those things, like Groshek, right? Like guys who can basically, if you need someone and you trust them.
Beyond, I think Malusi is perfect for that role. I think that's where Malusi shines. I think if Allen is getting 65 to 70% of the carries or 60% of the snaps, and Malusi is getting 30%, 35% of them, I think that's a really nice split, right? Because you want Braylon to be the bell cow, but Malusi has shown that he can do a lot of different things, and I think he is a solid receiving option. We know that Garendo can be a receiving option. He was a wide receiver in high school before coming to UW and switching over to tailback. He's the fastest guy in college football. Literally, he was clocked as the fastest player in college football last year. And so that's interesting to me to see if they can keep all those guys healthy and get them going. The other interesting thing is fullback Jackson Acker slides down from tailback last year, where he got a little action. I think it was against Rutgers mostly. He and Riley Nowakowski will be taking over the fullback position, but Acker brings a ton of upside to the fullback. I think he's, with obviously all due respect to John Chenal, and some of the other guys who've played since Alec Ingold, Jackson Acker's the most athletic fullback since Alec Ingold. And he is someone who, they talked about even coming out of high school, he could be used as sort of like an H-back almost. And I think he's going to be fantastic here. And it'll get him involved in the offense more. And I think we could see Bernie's favorite thing, some dynamic fullback play.
I think...
Where else are you getting dynamic fullback play talk besides Wisconsin football? Well, maybe Iowa.
Really nowhere, but that's...
Maybe Iowa. Army.
Yeah, but completely different. Like, Army, the guy just runs full speed and gets crushed like pretty much 90% of the plays. I think it's important that we have this package. We've always had it. But I think it forces defenses... it forces defenses to be in a package that we know they're going to be in. Mostly base is what you see when you have a fullback in. It's mostly, there's nothing abnormal about what you're doing. Some people might walk down a linebacker or a strong safety, but realistically, it's a 3-4, it's a 4-3. Like, you're not getting into dime packages, you're not getting into nickel, you're not doing anything that's different than what we know you're going to be in. I think you can attack that.
Yeah.
You can attack that. What's behind you? Is it man? Is there one free? Like, what that is. That's easy. Also, it gives you protection, right? You have 7 guys now who can protect, even 8 if you wanted to just do like 2 routes with the tight ends. But there's max protection in that formation. Now, if you start, these guys are athletic and can catch, and they're good outlets, it's a whole new ball game. And Mertz needs to use these guys, right? Like, if don't force it, dude, throw it to Ches, throw it to Braylon for 3 yards, 4 yards. Let them, first off, you're getting another touch. I want to go back to what you said. I actually think for the first 3 games, no matter what, Braylon should be like 1/3 each guy. Like let him get a little juiced up. But dude, Braylon Allen's going to probably carry the ball 50 times against Ohio State, depending what happens. I don't want to kill him, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't want him to just
I feel that. As someone who wants Braylon for Heisman, though, he's going to need to put up some big numbers in those first couple games. But you know what? Maybe on 14 carries, he's getting 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, because with him, that's very possible.
It's very possible. You're right. If we want him to go, it's like going to the playoffs. Like, we need to win by 60 points then against everybody to go to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I want him to be the Heisman Trophy winner, but I also want him to play in the NFL and not be a piece of pulp at the end.
That's true. But JT was able to do it.
JT was able to do it, but he also had some huge plays. Like, he got the ball a lot, but he also didn't get touched a lot.
No, he did not get it because he was faster than everyone.
Because he was faster, right? So, it's funny. My coach used to say, never run out of bounds. So if you ever see me on the sidelines, like lowering the shoulder into dudes running full speed, looking back, was I trying to be a man? Yes. Was I a man? Yes. Was I a humongous gorilla? For sure. Is that the smartest thing to do? No. Run out of bounds and don't get hit.
So I don't know, Bern, I don't know if you saw it or the listeners saw it. This past week, Clint and I have been doing our weekly recruiting chats and videos over on Badger Blitz TV on YouTube. Make sure to check those out. But we were able to integrate like highlights, like live highlights into the show this past week, and Clint was doing live analysis. And there's a kid who's a rising junior this year at Catholic Memorial in Waukesha named Corey Smith, and he's a tailback. He's a 4-star recruit. He's being recruited by Wisconsin, Notre Dame, like Penn State, all like the big programs. And he's super fast, but there is one clip on it where he just lowers his shoulder on a dude, keeps going and scores a touchdown. And when it happens in the clip, both Clint and I live on the show go, oh, like, and it's just because it feels, well, at this point in time, it feels like a throwback. You don't see a lot of kids lowering the shoulder and because they're all going out of bounds, which probably for their long-term health might be the correct thing. But on the football field, you got to admit, not only does it look good, but it feels good to truck stick someone.
No, right. It doesn't mean, listen, not every time you're not running out of bounds doesn't mean you're trucking somebody else. There was a good amount of time where that hit is either 50% shared or, yeah, you truck somebody or they get you. Our coach always said, he never said put the ball in two hands. He said always have it in high and tight in one and use your other arm to be violent, to punch, to rip.
Yeah, use it as a weapon.
Use it as a weapon. So that in my first off, I was a knucklehead in college, and I literally was a meathead, and I still pretty much am. My mindset was if I have the ball and someone's coming to, I'm gonna lay the wood I want you in the fourth quarter to be like, I cannot hit this dude again. Like, and I weighed enough, and I think my mentality was crazy enough to be like, dude, I'm 268 pounds. I'm almost if it's not a D lineman who weighs 350, like. That guy might not. I'll lower the wood on that guy, but it's going to hurt. You just knew that was going to hurt. But if it's a linebacker who's like 240, I'm like, I'm already winning this battle.
Well, and on top of that, like for your size, you move really well. And it's not just weight, it's weight plus speed, right? So even on that 350-pound dude, if he's just standing still and you have a full head of steam, you're going to knock the crap out of him.
There was a play we did against Iowa my second year that we cracked on the nose guard. We didn't block him and cracked on him. That play in practice worked every time. We went to Iowa, it worked the first time, and it sucked the first time. And then that dude knew the second that he was unblocked, he just turned and like looked at me, and I just feel like he was smiling. It was like, like a kid on Christmas, like, I'm gonna kill this dude. Literally ran full speed into like a 350-pound dude and couldn't move him. But I couldn't. He's 70 pounds, like 50, 70 pounds more. Like, what am I going to do? But I didn't have to move him. I just had to get in his way. So the play worked. That was the last time we ever did that play. Not because we didn't do it well. I just didn't think it was, AD's, style was not that play.
What was the block that you dreaded making most? What was the play or the block that you just went like, I know I have to do this. I'm going to do this, but my God, I do not want to do this.
Bob, because it was an ISO. It was just me going straight up, like
at an inside backer, basically. Yeah.
Blocked out. And it was like it was like an open lane. It's like two cars just get out of your way and there's a truck coming towards you.
Yeah. It's that guy. It's the Oklahoma drill in live games.
It's basically the Oklahoma drill. And yes, we didn't do a lot of it because we just didn't. But my runs at Penn State were the Bob. Yep. So it's kind of interesting. Like, yeah, it was hard, but it did work, but a lot of it was cutbacks, right? Like if you look at our offense, like I don't think a lot of people know, but like a lot of our offense is made for cutback lanes. Most of the zones that you see, power is not a cutback play. It's guards pulling. You're going to gap or outside. An outside handoff is an outside handoff. You're going outside. But a lot of those plays like the Bob, you go on your path. When you get up, my coach was always get up on somebody's back or get on their heels and then cut back. You get the linebackers flying, and that's when you see a double team and a guy come off the double team. It could be guard, center, or tackle guard, come off. They don't have to do anything, and they just get in that guy's way, and you're off to the races. So I think that was our offense. I think AD was exceptional at that. I think Ronnie D was more of like you're going to go to B gap, and he would make it work.
But I also felt like with Ron Dane, they were using a lot more single back stuff. They weren't utilizing a fullback as much as they were once they had you and then guys after you. I felt like that was almost more of a Paul Christ thing than it was. I mean, obviously Chris was in the OC until you were your senior year, I think, right? Mm-hmm. But even it was with Ron Dane, I felt like it was a lot of single back, two tight ends kind of stuff, more so
He
than
was
it was, a traditional pro set or I formation.
Yeah. So Ronnie, coach was always like, "Hey, AD, what do you want to run?" And he was one day it was like Ron was an A gap. He wanted to do the A gap, the 22 zones. So the two gap is the A gap basically. So the gap's next to the center. And AD's like, no, I don't like that. I'm more the B gap guy. With it allows for just a different cutback angle, but Ronnie was definitely more downhill and less. I would say he did some amazing cutbacks, but not AD was like just fantastic at.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but like Ron Dane, you're not going to like pitch him the ball for an outside pitch.
No, you're
Like, it
not,
wasn't his
and
game.
because you're not utilizing his skill set the
Right,
most
right.
effectively you can there, right? Because it took Ron a couple more steps to get going than it did AD, right? So you don't want to have to wait for that to develop when you're
But
getting
also
to go outside.
sometimes I think what makes you're letting the play develop.
Hmm.
So like AD, I think had to slow down
That's what I mean.
more
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
yes, and like Ronnie could go me, I could go my full speed. Like my back step during power, because we always did like a back step to let kind of the guard get there, was quick. For AD, it was so I bet he would felt like he was in mud when he did it. But for me, it was quick because I'm not a fast dude, so I had to but you let the guard, the fullback hit, the tight end, block down. Sometimes the tight end blocked down, the ends went outside, so that would be me to hit him, right? So like you let these things happen, and then you have a vision, and you have really like a portrait of what you're gonna do at that point. I think Ronnie was just really good at taking a good angle, getting running backs to move. He had the line in front of him, and all these dudes are running so fast. The second he cut back, like in a small A gap cut, for him was like to the races. Like
Hmm.
now you got a truck stick somebody who's 100 pounds less than you in a corner. It was a joke.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. One last question. Who's your under the radar guy this season? So not Herbig, not Braylon Allen, not Graham Mertz, not Keanu Benton. Who is the under the radar guy that you are on the lookout for this season? You think is going to break through and be the next big thing?
I mean, I want it to be DK,
Okay, Shimmery DK. I like
right?
that. I like
I
that.
want it.
I
I
like.
always
I
mess his
liked
name up.
how Colin was telling us basically like he's like the vocal leader now, like there in the
I
locker room.
love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I always mess his name up because of Chikwe Obasi, who's
Hmm.
my boy. So I always say Chikwe DK, but that's completely wrong. So I'm sorry to both of you. But I am excited to see what he can do. I think his progression and the guys in that room, that's hugely important. We got to see maybe some of those freshmen are playing this year. I don't know. And I like Jordan Turner. I feel like
Yeah.
he's such a nice.
Jordan
I
Turner was
met
on
him.
my short list.
I met him. He was so nice. He was smiling the whole time. He met my family. Like he was just a good dude. And then he's like, "Man, I'm so excited for the season." And he saw the Believe and was like, "You're on that show, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." How do you know? He's like, "I follow you guys." So I find that to be so cool. But I'm excited for the defensive guys. I'm excited to see. I think that they do step up. I think there's not a lot of drop.
No.
Everyone says, "Oh, you lost all these good guys,"
Well,
but there's
yeah.
good guys right behind them.
Yeah,
Like
but
we don't have
that's what
scrubs.
good programs do. That's what
Okay.
happens at elite level programs. And if Wisconsin wants to be an elite level program, which we all believe that they can get there if if they take certain steps when it comes to funding NIL, and we're going to have some guys on to talk about NIL here in the next couple of weeks. And because that is changing the landscape of recruiting. How much?
Got to
What
be
can you offer
competitive.
guys off the field? What kind of stuff can you offer guys off the field? So, but for me, there's a couple guys like the entire secondary is going to be new, and I'm
Mhm.
interested to see, especially with the unfortunate injury to Travion Blaylock. Looks like Hunter Wohler is, it looks like it's going to be Hunter Wohler and John Torchio, but I am excited to see Kamoy Letu, the Utah transfer, step in at safety and see what he can do. Obviously, he's Herbie's guy. We know that they go back, they played in high school together, and he was a freshman last year at Utah. He won Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week 1 week. It had like 12 tackles, pass breakup, forced fumble. Like, I think he's got potential. And the other guy I'm excited about is Daryl Peterson at outside linebacker. I think that he's going to be the guy opposite of Herbig on clear pass rush situations. I mean, I believe he set the Ohio State record in high school for, it was either sacks in a season or career sacks. He had 24 sacks as a senior. And he gets to the quarterback is really what it boils down to. I know he had a good spring. Him and TJ Bowler are guys I'm really excited about. I'm a little bit in the bag for TJ. I had him on the podcast before you were my co-host. He was one of my favorite guys to talk to. And so I definitely root for TJ a lot. And, so we're going to be hoping that, all those guys are able to step up and show out. And I'm excited. Obviously, this is the time of year, Bern, where there's more optimism than at any other point.
Yes. I mean, listen, yes, I'm excited. I think our team, like everyone sitting out here, especially, and me too, is like, damn, we got to go to Ohio State 4th game. But I think our guys, when I was sitting in the locker room, you're like, hell yeah, we're going there.
Yeah, we get to go to Ohio State for the 4th game, right?
Listen, we've been very competitive there. Throughout the years, we've had a lot of success. Even Barry's like, when we were there, it was 7-0, and then they won by 40 points. We beat them in 2004. We've just been successful against Ohio State, not in the Big Ten championship, but that game is not the Big Ten championship right now.
It's not. It's
so we just need to focus on being 1-0 in the Big Ten. I mean, obviously, I'm nervous. I will have to admit, it's a very nerve-wracking game. It's at the big house. They're pretty awesome. Or the Horseshoe.
Yeah, I was saying not the big house. It's the Horseshoe, my friend.
Not the big house. But the big house isn't the big house. It's the, like Ohio State's the big show there. But, I mean, I think our guys, especially you have guys like Vogel, like Herbig, that guy's ready. He wants to go play there. And I think that's contagious. And we had guys like Dantes, who was from Ohio, who's like, we're going to go and whoop their butts. And you believe it. You start believing it. And that's what it takes, is a little bit of opening that door to confidence and to saying, these dudes are 22, 21, 20 years old, just like everyone in our room.
Yeah.
They work out. They go to school. Like they're not the NFL guys. They're not in the NFL. Like they're very good guys. Like I'm not saying.
Yeah, they were obviously for the most part like higher ranked kids coming out of high school, kids who are considered to have, maybe higher NFL upside, whatever. But, they still put their pants on one leg at a time unless they're really special. They still need to sleep every night. If you cut them, they still bleed. So
if it were up from my movie, you did it. It was if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yep, Predator.
That's it. All day Predator. Just get that mindset. Yeah. Well, also don't be the Predator. Be Arnold.
Yeah. The answer's always be Arnold. Be Arnold.
Watch Pumping Iron and just be like, wow, this dude is more confident than 300 people put together.
Dude, I watched an interview with him recently where he was talking about why he still lifts every single day. And I got chills watching him. The guy's like, so why do you at your age still lift? He's like, what, why do you still go to the gym every day? He's like, why do I wake up? Why do I breathe? It's like, oh, dang. Why do I, when the answer to why do you go to the gym every day is why do I breathe? I don't need to say anything else. Like I'm not super into to lifting culture, but my gosh, that made me want to go. There's a Gold's Gym very close to me. That made me want to go to Gold's Gym, just get in a couple sets. And be like,
Dude, I think in Pumping Iron, he goes to Will, was it Will Ferrigno? Is that who it was? Will?
Oh, I know exactly. I know
Lou Ferrigno. And he goes, hey, Lou.
Lou Ferrigno. Right? Isn't it Ferrigno or is it Ferrigno? I don't know.
I think it's Ferrigno.
Okay.
I think so. He goes, hey, Lou, I called your mom. I told her I won. Before this competition even starts, I'm like, that is the epitome of confidence, chip on your shoulder. The dude knew he won the second he arrived. And I think it's I think he was a freak of nature, but also the amount of work he put in during that film is bananas.
Yeah.
But I think our guys, we're not comparing our guys to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well,
and Ryan.
I don't know. Have you seen Zay Mullins on the squat machine, squatting? Because I think he could probably out squat Arnold even at Arnold's peak.
I hope he can.
He was doing like
But
he was doing 700, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised they make bars that can even hold this weight.
Well, so that was interesting to me. I was watching the Nick Chubb video from the Browns, and he had
unbelievable. What kind of bar is that?
But it's a flexible bar. It's like the bar like bends naturally because he was like he was repping like 635 or something. It was silly.
Yeah.
But I guess it disperses the weight more easily or something. I have no idea. But it was a flexible bar, and I have to imagine. We're supposed to get Costigan and Snee on here soon. We can ask them.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear what they think about that. But I think our guys, listen, I think our guys are hungry. They're excitable. They're exciting to watch. Every year it's good quality football. We're always going to be a leader in the West. We have Jimmy Leonard. We have Coach Chris. I think we got guys in the right places. We have a ton of alumni who have played football at Wisconsin, who are there coaching guys. So that they love it. Like, it's not like they like it a lot. This is where they built their careers.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of all of this, and all of this culture is so important to a football squad. And then you have guys like Nick Herbig, who are just outspoken leaders who want to go do these things, who are going to get other people in a frenzy. I'm just, to me, this team is a big question mark. I don't know. And I'm excited to watch and come on every week and really talk about it and figure out who this team is and what they can accomplish. I'm always 12-0, 13-0, 14-0. Like, that's me. But I think this year's really, really exciting.
I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting. Defense has to replace 8 starters, so what? I can't believe I'm saying that, but honestly, at this point with Jim Leonard, so what? He's been the DC for 5 years. 4 of those 5 years, they finished in the top 6 nationally, and the quote unquote down season, they finished in the top 30 nationally. So, like, I'm not overly concerned.
Yeah, and all those dudes want to play for him, and it's not like look. Leo Chenal was probably one of the best linebackers in the country last year, top 5 at least. He right, was. So like, the next guy could be the top 10. He's just not Leo Chenal. So, like, we have dudes.
But that's the other thing, though, because the thing I trust in Jimmy, like Jordan Turner is an outstanding coverage linebacker. Like, he's fantastic at coverage. Leo and Jack, that was not their strong suit. I have full confidence in Jimmy to design a defense that maximizes those strengths. So,
for sure,
is really what it boils down to, and it's going to come down to the offense and Graham Mertz and the offensive line. I'm not worried about Braylon. I'm not worried about the receivers that much. I trust Jim. The young guys, I think Skylar Bell, Marcus Allen, Keontae Lewis, a transfer, Dean Ingram switching over from cornerback. There's a great piece over on Badger Blitz today. A really interesting interview with Dean Ingram about the switch from corner to wide receiver and how that's helped him, and how he also is pretty excited about playing for his dad, like under his dad. So, cool. That's pretty cool too. So I think that's going to do it for us here today. And we'll be back next week with an interview. Who have we got as a guest, Burn, next week?
Is next week, I think, is Shabert.
Yeah, Matt Shabert.
Yeah.
So
John Klingscale said he'd come on. So I'm really excited to get some dudes back on, hear their stories.
Cecil Martin,
hear what they think about.
Cecil Martin will be coming. And then once we're in season, we are going to have guys from the team being on game week and stuff like that. You guys will be hearing a lot more Nick Herbig, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And we're gonna try to bring some of these other guys in. I mean, Jordan Turner, hopefully, definitely, Keanu Benton.
They're all at camp.
So they're all at camp right now. So after camp,
hopefully Joe Thomas said he would jump on after Cleveland's camp. So I think it's going to be another exciting season.
It's a very exciting season. We're gonna have some guys return. We're definitely having B White back for, we just need a little bit more. We need to get to Fiji a little bit more these days. Fiji. So I think we're definitely going to be having B White back on, talk about some of the stuff that he's doing, and, send us who you guys want to hear from. Obviously, we do our best to bring in guys, but if there's someone you want us to reach out to, let us know. Shoot us a DM. Instagram, at Believe in Badgers, Twitter at Believe in Badgers. And until next time, this is the Believe in Badger Football podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by betonline.ag. We'll catch you next time, and on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.